I got some new finds that I got at Antique Mall, and spent $20 on all this stuff. A lot of people say, "Why you spend all this money on paper?" But there we go. Um, this one's this one was from a little baggie of stuff, which I noticed because it had these evangelist women. Nice froze on them. Let me turn off this light because it's not doing anything. So those froze on these women. Evangelist Nancy Spearman and Geraldine Johnson. I assume. Oh, this is Newark, New Jersey, and Trenton. So I guess I grabbed this for no reason. I thought it was Detroit related, but I guess I didn't really read it. Didn't matter because I went through the bag before purchasing it. I found some other good stuff. The Heidi Ho Bar, dancing to the music of Jim Morgan and the Bellhops, featuring Luke Kelly Jr., Jim McGee, Glenn McIntyre. 7509 Fenkel Avenue, 3 blocks west of Livernois. Your host, AL, probably from the 1950s. And if you're from the Detroit area, as I am, you know that Fenkel Avenue turns into 5 Mile, which is 3 miles from, the famous 8 Mile that piece of garbage Eminem made famous worldwide. James L. Dance, apartment 7, 3566 Cass Avenue. I did not look him up. I'm not sure what that's about, but that one seemed to have been affixed to something before, like a scrapbook. I don't think any of these other ones were. And then, of course, there's this from the J.L. Hudson Company, which was the largest department store in the Detroit area. The J.L. Hudson Company Drapery Workroom. In compliance with your request, our representative called at your residence but found no one at home. Will you kindly advise our drapery workroom when it will be convenient for you to have him call again? Very truly yours, the J.L. Hudson Company. Cherry 5100. Would it be possible to have manager something man in to measure archways? And then here is a business card for C&R Shell, obviously a gas station in the area where I live, obviously from I'd say the 60s or 70s. Nothing extraordinary, but then we have this thing, Tina Marie, and there she is in her brassiere. Specialists in girdles, brassieres, lingerie. I still don't know how lingerie is spelled that way. Hosiery, dresses, slacks, fine jewelry, and bathing suits. Southfield, Michigan, and Farrell's Shopping Plaza. I'm guessing Farrell's was the old ice cream place. FL Prouty and Company. And I picked this one up for a specific reason because there was a Prouty and Glass Carriage Company in Wayne, Michigan. And I believe that this may be the same guy who started that. It was one of the greatest, not the greatest, but the biggest makers of carriages and sleighs in America at the time before it went bankrupt, I think in 1915. But this is Detroit location. F.L. Prouty may have been the brother of the proprietor of the Prouty and Glass Company, but I don't know. I can't find definitive answers on this. But I still picked it up because I know he's definitely related. F.L. Prouty. Plus, I believe I have some postcards from his wife. Third annual banquet and installation of officers for the Detroit Press Photographers Association, Wardell Sheraton Hotel, Kirby at Woodward, May 14th, 1949. What's this say? Sample? Sample. 50 cent. James Phelan. Election Monday, April 3rd for Recorder's Court. And I looked up Phelan. I did some research on him. Wow, that's some shaky handwriting there. Jesus. Phelan was elected Recorder Court's judge in, I believe, 1900. And then he won in 1906. and 1911. He died in 15. This is back in the day when judges were beloved by the people. I know he was a Democrat. I'm pretty sure he was a Democrat. At least that's what the articles say. He ended up dying of some rare, what was it called? Anyway, he died in 15, so this dates to at least the early 1900s, although it looks rather modern. It's a pretty good printing back then. And we move on to the postcards I got. This one is from Bablo, the lighthouse at Bablo Island, which I'm guessing no longer exists. And Bablo, people in Detroit are obviously have French heritage from Détroit, but Bois Blanc Island was bastardized by us heathens here in Detroit to Bablo somehow. Blah blah to Bablo. It does kind of sound blah blah. And they went to Bablo. The postcard is to Edna Guest of Detroit. We, class of 11, are here on a spree today. You can guess who sent this. Got your cards all right. All right. And here's a shady nook on Belle Isle Park, which for years was basically a fucking hood hangout until the state took it over and turned it into a national park. And now it's been restored, but I have not been down there in at least 10, 15 years. I saw this that day with love from Fanny, a shady nook right on the river. Miss Edith Bristow, Greenfield, Michigan. And Greenfield, Michigan, I believe, is where Henry Ford grew up, or did he grow up in Spring Wells? Wherever it was. This is basically the area which is now in Dearborn, which I think the Greenfield Village is at. Unfortunately, there is a Greenfield stamp right there, 1905. Then I got two of these postcards of Dr. Wahenkel's Sanatorium in Romeo, Michigan. I mean, that's quite a fucking building. I built this and turned it into a hospital, Bubba. It's a nice house. Doesn't really say anything, but I looked it up and I believe there was obviously a sanatorium for disease and most likely drunkenness. I thought there was something on that in the articles I looked up, but there wasn't much to be had on this guy, Wahenkel. But the cards were only $2 a piece, and I have a collection of sanatoriums and asylums, so why not, bruv? This one's Hattie Rogers, Plymouth, Michigan, July 2nd, 1924. What does that say? July 2nd, 1924. Yeah, you wrote that twice. We missed you. I am sure you know when you stop to think that one broken link spoils the chain. So please mend next Sunday your broken link and be back in our class again. Hey, look, it says mended too. And I looked up Hattie Rogers, and I believe she was a librarian in Old Redford, Michigan. Hattie Rogers. Then we come to two Valentine's cards. Well, I don't know if this one's a Valentine's. Are you there? Don't you think absence makes the heart grow fonder? And you can see this lady at her desk. Look at that desk. Even that looks fucking brilliant. Look at that. The clothes, the desk, the hat rack, the telephone she's on. Everything's better than now. And the main reason why I got these were because they were addressed to a woman in Detroit named Miss Florence Widow. And the caption from her friend Joe S. Are you a merry widow this year? How is the world using you? May 19th, 1909. So obviously it wasn't for Valentine's. Are you a merry widow? That's a great name. Florence Widow. This one's definitely a Valentine's. Let's see what they say to Florence this time. Miss Florence Widow, Detroit, Michigan, 212 Maple Street. Dear friend. Well, how are you? And your mother. Think of my dill pickles so often. Dear friend, well, how are you? And your mother. Think of my dill pickles so often. What does that even mean? Think of my dill pickles so often. We are having such cold weather. If you hear, would like to see you both and answer soon or answer sometime. What the hell does that say? I don't know what it says. Jesse DeHart. I believe this is DeHart. Jesse DeHart. And this was sent February 12th from Ashland, Ohio. And lastly, Harvey F. Peters, professional embalmer and funeral director, 11847 Finley Avenue in Detroit. I actually looked that up, and it was just a small, dilapidated house. I like the house, but I mean, it looks like it's beyond repair. But this name sounds very familiar. I have a ton of Cemeteria stuff, so I'll look through and see if I already have a card by this. But I swear I have something by this Harvey F. Peters guy. The Van Toyle Funeral Service, Queerfield, which is what this is. I got 2 boxes. I foolishly gave one away to somebody that I thought was going to be around, but they just wanted my funeria. There's a casket and a funeral. What's this for? Edward Franchek, Holy Cross Cemetery. There's cards, memorial cards. Ypsilanti, Michigan, Woolton. Francis Redmond. I'm looking for Harvey F. Peters in this thing. I'm trying to think what I have by Harvey. Another cemetery photo. I forgot about this kid. His dad was crushed. I think he was killed in an accident of some sort. There's a European-looking cemetery. And 2 people standing by a grave. Mans Ferguson Funeral Home. I got some pens from funeral homes. Trying to find something related to Harvey F. Peters. This one's a really creepy. You know how you get little books of photos, and this one is one of a funeral. Pretty brilliant, honestly. Let's go to the funeral, buddy. What's that say? Funeral core coach. Funeral coach. Great pictures. I wish I knew who the people were. Look at that street light. Look at those cars lined up along the street. God, I had this. This is a great. A. Hradowski. There's a guy taking the picture. Is he on a telephone? Looks like he's on a cell phone, don't it? Is that even a guy? Obviously, he's holding the camera up. There's the funeral throng coming up with the body in the casket. There they are outside waiting afterwards, or before, loading the casket into the hearse. It looks like a side door, not the back door. What else? I've forgotten I had this. This is pretty brilliant. Wish I knew who any of these people were. There is the priest. There's this guy, forlorn. And none of it tells who it is. Anyway, I'm looking for something related to Harvey F. Peters. I'm not seeing anything. You know what? I think it is. I think I have a book. That's what it is. But I don't think it's the same Harvey. It might be. Where the hell is that book? There's Harvey A. Neely. What is that book called? Another funeral. Casket. People at the graveside. Quite a collection of cemetery and graveyard stuff. There's another cemetery of sorts, it looks like. Oh, it does say Marshall Centennial Series, Beautiful Oak Ridge Cemetery. Then here's another. Oh, yeah, it's a casket. Almost looks like a funeral pyre. Anyways, let's see if I can find this book. Oh, I think. Was it Harvey Peters? Got my section on the cemeteries and death. Where did I move it? Funeral customs? Maybe that's it. No, that ain't it. Maybe it is. No, I think it's this book up here. This book. The Art and Science of Embalming. No, that's Arthur J. F. Plock. So I was close. It had an F in the name. All right, so that's just another random dude who I cannot find in the newspapers. Very strange. Don't mind the mess on the floor. I don't. All right, so that's that. I guess you're going in there, Harvey. You can join the rest of the Queerfield bunch. Gina Delusky. Jeebus. Gina Delusky again. Julius Delusky. The whole Delusky family. Rose Shaner. Mans Ferguson Funeral Home. Middlebelt, Livonia, Michigan. Elwood Mans. Dixon Mans. Maplewood Cemetery, Mayfield, Kentucky. O clement, O pious, O sweet Virgin Mary, pray for the souls in purgatory. Harry Robakowitz died March 16th, 1953. Who's this? Remembrance cards. Edward Franchek, born December 6, 1927, age 40. Holy Cross Cemetery. I already looked at that one. That's one of my favorites. The Van Toyle Funeral Service. Bay City, Michigan. U.S. Steel Grave Vault Company. Galion, Ohio, 1954. Here's some Christmas recipes from the funeral home. Nothing like getting some Christmas recipes from the funeral home. I guess you're going to have to die, but do you really have to be reminded at Christmas how to carve a turkey? How to stuff and roast a turkey. Visitor's Guide to the Beauty and History of Spring Grove Cemetery. The House of Personal Service, Swanson Funeral Home, Detroit, West McNichols, which is 6 Mile Road. It is a mirror. Another one for Spring Grove in Cincinnati, and then Spring Grove again. Lovely. Look at that. Got a waterfall there. I think I stopped at this place. No, I think I stopped at a different one. Tree-lined roadways. Spring Grove Memorial Mausoleum. All right, well, there's all that. Sajewski And then Harvey Peters, hop in, buddy. You're part of the collection now. Into the little ash casket you go. All right, that's all. Unless what's this? A hobby you're most passionate about right now? Let's try it. Let's everybody answer a question. A hobby you're most passionate about right now. Funerary. Florence Widow. Alfred Plock. Start question and answer. Answer the question or you're banished from hell, into hell. The Wahenkel Sanatorium, Romeo, Michigan. Funny thing is, I know the guy who sells these because I looked it up and the only listing on eBay was that guy. So I actually know him. But I got it for $2, so I can't complain. $2. This guy goes to every estate sale in the area. He digs up in closets just like I do, but closets and rafters of garages. But I just don't go to many anymore since I have way too much stuff. And I need to get off this and get on to my other stuff like this. All right, Bob says, okay.